Wow, I threw my plug leader over without attaching it to the rod. It's the ultimate in catch and release, but at 25 bucks a plug, I think we'll back up on this one and burn the $5 in gas. They'll take a lot more runs next to the boat, so just be ready for that. There's a fish right there. Getting a lot of Chinook in the summer on flashers and hoochies is awesome. And you know, if you have limited time and you just want to get the fish in the boat, that's what I recommend. But when there's a lot of fish around and you want to change it up, we love to fish Tomic Plugs. So it's a guide favorite, it's a personal favorite. I'm going to show you some of the modern day plug tactics that we use to get some awesome Chinook in the boat all summer long here in the Strait of Georgia. We're fishing the Pacific Angler medium heavy rod. We're usually fishing plugs deep, 150 to 350, so we need a medium heavy rod with lots of backbone, like the Pacific Angler Okuma Guide Series Moocher. The TR3 is a great reel with braid. Again, we're fishing deep, so we're gonna be fishing 65-pound braid with a mono top shot, and that mono top shot is gonna go straight to our plugs. When we get into the terminal tackle setup there, I'm going to show you some of my favorite knots and tricks to get the best action out of your plug. So let's go check those out. So when it comes to Tomic Plugs, there's lots of different sizes. There's the tiny little wee tads, which people will actually use in a lake, all the way up to the gigantic 7-inch plugs. There's the original style, which is a little bit slimmer profile, and then there's the Tubby series. For me personally, fishing for Chinook in the Strait of Georgia, I like the Tubby series. They're just a little broader, and they just seem to have a little bit more erratic action. And I like the 4-inch and the 5-inch. So here's a variety of them here that I have pre-tied. We're gonna get into some of these colors here in a minute, but that's a 4-inch Tubby and that's a 5-inch Tubby. Let's talk about how you rig these plugs. There's a lot of different ways to do it. What some people will do is they'll actually pull that pin right out and they'll run their main line through and they'll run some beads in a hook. Personally, I don't like to do that. It's a great way to fish it, but I find I can get a little bit more erratic action. I can get that plug to dig a little bit harder. When it digs harder, all that pressure causes it to shoot out from side to side, and that gives you that erratic action. So if you just tied a regular knot and didn't give a lot of thought as to how hard you were cranking down on that knot is going to slip right down to the natural point right here where the plug's going to want to tow from. You know, and that's going to work, but I want to get as much action as possible. Again, these are aggressively feeding Chinook, which tend to respond well to a more erratic action. So what I've done here is I've tied that knot as far back as possible on this tow ring, and I've really cranked down on it. So for a leader, I'm using 30-pound Maxima Ultra Green, so you can crank down on that clinch or improved clinch knot to a point where it's not gonna slip. But just as insurance, I'm gonna put a second clinch knot right in front of it, really taking time to cinch this knot down hard. Like, this knot is not going anywhere. Then I'm gonna cut that off. And that acts as a bumper to keep my tow line from my leader nice and high on that U portion of the tow ring here. And what that does, instead of the plug towing from here, it has to tow from here. So it's gonna really push down hard. So it's only gonna dive down so much, and then all that water displacement is gonna cause it to shoot left and right. And that's what gives it that erratic action. You don't want it to go straight and wiggle back and forth. You want it to have a lot of tail waggle, and then you want it to shoot to one side and shoot to another side. So that's the secret to getting a lot of action on these plugs. Now, you want to check that. You want to make sure that everything is nice and straight. And after each fish, you want to check it too. If the knot comes down, you can pull it back. If it goes to one side, the plug might track to one side or another. So you can have some fun tuning it a little bit. You know, and when you get a good plug, you got to hold on to it. So you can see this one has a lot of teeth mark in it. This is a 4-inch Tubby. I've had this one for a number of years. It's got all sorts of scars from Chinook teeth, so I'm definitely going to put that one down. If you do some research on plugs, you'll find all plugs, for whatever reason, don't fish equal. There's some that just seem to have that extra little bit of action, and this is definitely one of those. So we're going to put that one down today and see what happens. Some fisheries, like maybe if you're in an inlet somewhere and you're fishing for rivermouth Chinook, a little bit more lethargic, slower, non-feeding fish, you're going to want a slower action. But we're in the Strait of Georgia, we're here, we're in the summer. These are aggressive, competitive, actively feeding Chinook. And this setup right here with the 4-inch and 5-inch tubbies puts them in the boat all day long. Let's talk about the colors that you can get for Tomic plugs. So if you look at these numbers, they're 200, 300, 400, 500, 600. That's because they have that many colors. So there's hundreds and hundreds of different colors of Tomic plugs, because there's some of these smaller ones they're fishing for trout, brown trout, lake trout, all the way up to salmon. So I haven't fished all the colors, but I've fished quite a few, and here are some of my favorite fishing here in the Strait of Georgia for summer Chinook. Of course, chartreuse is great. You know, chartreuse is such a good color for Chinook. This one is actually modeled after the Irish cream spoon. So UV white, chartreuse, Kelly green back, and then this one has a UV body insert, which kind of gives it a little bit of an iridescent internal look to it. And then on the plugs that we get here at Pacific Angler, because these are all hand painted on Vancouver Island, they put a glow belly on the plug for us. So we actually asked them to hit it a couple times to get a double thick glow belly. So that one is the Irish cream UVBI, that's UV body insert. And that's with the double glow belly for the ones you get at Pacific Angler. So that one's great. Getting into more UV plugs, this is the 647 UVBII. Sort of a cool UV green herring pattern and black scale on the back. There's that plug in a 4 and a 5. Another awesome one that's put a lot of fish on deck and has that cool sort of see-through greeny blue UV color to it. Another great UV one is the 210121. This one is chartreuse UV with a black back, and it has that UV body insert in it. This one's very, very cool. I like this one a lot. And again, the ones that we get at the store, we always like to have the double glow belly. There's coho jumping all around us here. It's pretty awesome. We're in 37 feet of water, and there's a huge ball of herring underneath us. It's amazing. So lots going on. Can't wait to get these plugs out there and see what's happening. So that's another cool UV one. And of course, you have your UV herring aids, and you also have your 564 UVBII, which is sort of more like a pilchard pattern. Here's the UV herring aid. That's a 645 UVBII, so modeled after your herring aid spoon. Your blues, your yellows, your greens are all in there. Silver scale, UV body insert, and that double glow belly that we put on all our plugs. Actually, there's one famous UV one that I forgot, which is your kind of modeled after your 602. Like the 602 is probably one of the famous Tomic color codes. It's that mother of pearl code. So the classic 602 is probably one of the top selling Tomic plugs ever, but this is a new school twist on it. This is the 602 UVBII, so it has that UV body insert there. And I asked them to put the glow belly on there. So that one's got a lot of teeth mark on it, so that's a good one. So those are my UV ones that work really well. But on some of the darker days, when the fish are deep and there's not a lot of light, we'll get into the glow plugs. We have a glow version of the 602, and it's called a 603. So there's your mother of pearl, but the cool thing about this one is the whole body glows. So it's not a hit of glow belly paint. The actual plastic glows, just like a Salty Dog flasher that's made out of glow plastic. This plug blank is glow. So when you charge that up with your UV light, it really pops. Same thing on the 632. So the 632 is more of a herring type pattern with your green and then your black scale, but again, it's painted on the glow blank. So this is made out of pure glow plastic, so that it shows up really well on the darker days. And I have that in the 4-inch and 5-inch tubbies, of course. And it wouldn't be complete without a glow herring aid. So here we have the 645, and that is again a full glow plug, but in a herring aid pattern. So your green, your blue, green going into your chartreuse, silver scale, and then the whole plug glows because it's glow plastic. So those are my favorite glow plugs. And I like to put some scent on there, just like when I'm fishing hoochies or spoons for coho. Scent is important. Usually I'm putting on either anchovy super gel that's gonna stick right onto the tail end of the plug, herring super gel, and then sometimes I'll change it up with the anise bloody tuna super gel. I just put a bit of scent on there. So anise bloody tuna, and I'm just gonna put some just on the back of the plug like that. Get a nice scent trail going. Whew, can smell that stuff already. Try not to touch that. Get it on your hands, gets on the line. It makes your line pop out of your release clip. So these, this glow one's been in the sun, it's all charged up. This one's UV, so you don't really charge it. It does have a little bit of glow paint on the belly, so it's good. All right, let's get them down and see what happens. Two of my favorites for actively feeding fish are the 5-inch tubby and the 4-inch tubby. So I have a couple of those ready to go here. I like to rig these with about a 6 or 7 foot leader of 30-pound test, and then I'll put a bead chain swivel. I can just clip that onto the end of my rod. I might be going from flasher hoochie fishing to plug fishing and back and forth in the day, so I like to have them on a leader. So these are charged up. We have some scent on here, and let's get them out there. Let's talk a little bit about how far we like to run it off the clip, and we'll take a look at some speed and what works for plugs and see what the Chinook think. Wow, I threw my plug leader over without attaching it to the rod. It's the ultimate in catch and release, but at 25 bucks a plug, I think we'll back up on this one and burn the 5 bucks in gas. This is my favorite glow too, the 632. Gotcha! Pro tip, attach the leader to the rod before you throw it over. Okay, we're ready to put this plug down. I've checked where my knot is, that it's towing down the center spine of the plug. I put it in the water. I check the action, it looks good. It's darting from side to side. It's charged up, it's got some scent on there. It's time to get it down there. So, you know, you can put plugs way off the release clip, 50, 60, 75 feet. In this spot, I like to make tight turns, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna have 2 plugs out. I'm just gonna put them about 15 to 25 feet off the clip. If you were running a dummy flasher with maybe a 5 or 6 foot lead, you might wanna go a little bit shorter off the clip, maybe 10 or 12 feet off the clip to keep that plug in the attraction area of that dummy flasher. But there's a lot of fish around today. I don't think we need to run a dummy flasher. It's sunny out. So I'm gonna go about 2 rod lengths, 2.5 rod lengths, so 25 feet off the clip. That's gonna give my plug a little bit of line to wander back and forth, but not too much that's gonna get tangled in the other rigger, which can happen. So we're fishing pretty deep, 200 to probably 280 on the riggers, and we're trolling fast, so they hit plugs hard. So I'm gonna set that line just in behind the black line on the release clip. I don't want that to come off too easy. One last look at the plug to make sure that it's swimming right and haven't picked up any weeds. There's not a lot of weeds in the water today. Yeah, it's looking good. Gonna set it down. So we're fishing. So The one thing about plugs, when you're fishing deep, when they'll often take it off the release clip. If you don't, you're just gonna set the hook and reel into the fish like you would any other technique. But because there's no flasher, they like to come straight up. So a lot of times when we're fishing deep for Chinook, we'll use a flasher and a hoochie. That fish takes off. We're fishing a 32-inch leader on a hoochie maybe. So when the fish takes off, the flasher is chasing the fish, so it usually runs right away. On a plug, the first thing they do here especially is they come straight up. So a lot of people are expecting that big first run. You might not get that. So when you're plug fishing and you get a bite, you want to get it off the clip and be ready to reel. Sometimes you're gonna reel and chase that fish all the way up to the surface, and then the rest of the fight is on the surface, which is kind of fun. They'll jump a lot more. They'll take a lot more runs next to the boat. So just be ready for that. There's a fish right there. He's off the clip. And he's coming up. Here he comes. He's coming up. Here he goes. Now he's really coming up. He's got to reel fast. He's bending that rod. Getting good, Josh. We didn't even get the other plug rod down. I didn't even get to finish my speech. The camera guy's like, hey, you're on, bud. That's the one thing about plug fishing. You're often gonna get one last little run there. Whew, there it is. The old 4-inch Tubby 632. My hands are shaking. That was an awesome fight. Let's see if we can get 2 rods down and see what happens. Okay, we just got a really nice spring on our first drop here on the 4-inch Tubby 632. I just brought things in to check it. Hook's still sharp. Had this out in the sun. That's a full glow plug, so it's charging up. I was down like 280 on the rigger, and made sure my knots pushed up nice and high here, down the center line. Put a bit of scent on there, and out she goes. So we have the 603 UV body insert 4-inch Tubby on this side, and the 632 all glow body with the green and black back. We just got smashed on this side. Oh, we're on. There he is. Coming up. He's gonna come up. Oh, double. Double on the plug. Got him. Yes. Double on the plug. Oh, he's coming up. Here he comes. You see how fast you have to reel there when they're coming up? We'll make it real sporting and slow down a bit. Epic. Oh, he's coming up, he's coming up. Oh, there he is. Go under. He's gonna jump. Oh, there he goes. On this side? Oh, he's not done. Yeah. Couple of nice hatchery Chinook on the plugs there. Little double header. goes. Woo!
Oh man.
There you go. That's summer Chinook fishing in the Strait of Georgia with plugs. Pretty epic. It's gonna be a great year. Give plugs a try, you're gonna love it. We sure do.